Have you ever stopped to wonder where we really come from? What lies behind the stories we've been told about the origin of humanity? In today's video, I'm going to reveal hidden and surprising truths that most people have never heard of, information that could transform the way you see the world and your purpose in it. If you've ever felt lost, disconnected, or in search of greater answers about who you are and why we're here, this video is for you. I'll show you theories, discoveries, and evidence that challenge everything we learned in school, and the best part, in a clear, direct, and no-nonsense way. Watch until the end to understand how this knowledge can open your mind, help you question what once seemed obvious, and even change the way you deal with life, your choices, and your future. Are you ready to discover what few have the courage to reveal? Then, let's begin. Have you ever thought that the origin of humanity might be far grander than what school taught us? Look, over the centuries, theories have emerged suggesting that stellar civilizations played a direct role in the creation of human beings. That's right. What if our existence were connected to extraterrestrial beings, and humanity was actually a cosmic project? As surprising as this idea may seem, it makes us question old paradigms and start seeing the universe as a cradle that holds much more than just us. Now, imagine this. What if these ancient and alien civilizations were, in some way, our mentors in the past? There are records in various cultures, like the Sumerians, the Mayans, and even the ancient Egyptians, that speak of gods who came from the stars. Coincidence? Who knows? The interesting thing is that these accounts appear in different corners of the world, as if a hidden truth were there between the lines of the myths. And let's be honest, wouldn't it be fascinating to rediscover this connection and see the spiritual mission of human beings with new eyes? In fact, if you want to start exploring this in practice, a good starting point is to study texts like the Sumerian Enuma Elish or the Mayan Popol Vuh. These readings make us deeply reflect on the origin of humanity and our connection with spirituality and the cosmos. By diving into these records, we begin to realize that maybe extraterrestrial DNA isn't just part of science fiction, but a link to truths that have long escaped us. And believe me, this leads us straight to the intriguing topic of ancient genetic manipulation. When it comes to ancient genetic manipulation, many people roll their eyes, thinking it's science fiction talk. But what if I told you that traditions like the Sumerians have told, for millennia, stories of gods who shaped human beings? These accounts, inscribed on clay tablets, suggest that stellar civilizations interfered in our development, altering the extraterrestrial DNA that perhaps we still carry today. Doesn't sound so absurd anymore, right? It's as if humanity were the result of an experiment that, long ago, aimed at something far greater than just creating beings to populate the planet. Here's a practical example for you to reflect on. Notice how various ancient cultures spoke of beings who descended from the sky and taught the arts of agriculture, writing, astronomy. Now, combine this with the hypothesis that these same beings might have made genetic alterations in primitive peoples. That changes everything. Imagine that spark of human genius could have been awakened by cosmic hands. It's worth delving deeper into these clues through the studies of Zecharia Sitchin, for example, who translated many of these Sumerian records with this bold perspective. And here's something curious. As we begin to understand the possibility of ancient genetic manipulation, we also start to see our own body as a true living archive of the past. Each cell might hold stellar memories, waiting to be deciphered. And this thought leads us straight to the next point. What would the true spiritual mission of human beings be if our origin involves such cosmic intervention? When we talk about the spiritual mission of human beings, we can no longer think only about daily routines, work, or obligations. There's something much greater at stake, deeply connected to the origin of humanity and our connection with stellar civilizations. If extraterrestrial beings and humanity have been linked from the beginning, did we come into the world just to survive? Or is there a higher purpose, a calling to evolve, learn, and transform our consciousness? This is the reflection that few allow themselves to make, but that changes everything when we open our hearts to it. And the most interesting part, this spiritual purpose isn't lost somewhere in the universe. It reveals itself in the small choices of each day. When you act with compassion, when you seek self-knowledge, when you meditate, pray, or simply gaze at the night sky and feel the mystery of the cosmos. All of this is part of awakening to that greater mission. A simple exercise to start: take 5 minutes of your day, look at the sky, and reflect on your connection with spirituality and the cosmos. This small daily habit begins to open doors in the mind and spirit. And look, as we realize that our journey isn't random, we start to feel part of something much greater, of a great cosmic plan. This, of course, leads us to another powerful question. How are we connected to the universe? After all, if there is such a profound spiritual mission, there must also be an intimate relationship with the cosmos that surrounds us, and that's what we're going to explore next. The connection with the universe goes far beyond gazing at the stars and being enchanted by the night sky. It's about truly recognizing that we are part of this grand whole and that our human origin carries this cosmic signature. Stellar civilizations, in the beginning, may have left deep marks in our essence, reminding us that we are, deep down, star travelers on a journey on Earth. This changes everything, because when you see yourself as part of the cosmos, your everyday worries gain a new meaning, and even problems seem smaller in the face of the immensity that surrounds us. Want a practical example of how to reconnect with this idea? Take some time to study the Milky Way, neighboring star systems, or even about ancient and alien civilizations that left clues about how much they knew about the universe. Books like Cosmos by Carl Sagan or documentaries about astronomy are great starting points. By diving into this knowledge, you begin to truly feel that connection with spirituality and the cosmos that so many ancient cultures already honored. And this rediscovery of our unity with the cosmos makes us reflect: did ancient civilizations, with all their wisdom, have direct help from these star peoples? What did they learn from these encounters, and what did they leave recorded for us? That's where the fascinating role of ancient civilizations comes in, as true mentors of knowledge that still seems hidden today. Now, imagine this. Peoples like the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, all with their pyramids, precise calendars, and astronomical knowledge that would leave any modern scientist in awe. Where did all that come from? Some say, and they're not few, that stellar civilizations brought this information, making these ancient and alien civilizations true students of cosmic masters. And it's not just conspiracy theory. Ancient texts and artifacts found around the world point to something that challenges the traditional logic of history. An example worth exploring is the Nazca lines in Peru. Have you ever stopped to think why ancient peoples would create gigantic drawings that can only be seen from the sky? What sense would that make if it weren't meant for some observer above? This is just one of the clues that reinforce the idea that extraterrestrials and humanity walked side by side, at least at certain moments in our history. And you know what's most intriguing? The more you research, the more questions arise, and the more eager you become to dive into this mystery. And of course, by opening our minds to this possibility, we start to wonder, if there was contact in the past, could these stellar civilizations still be out there watching us? Could they still be helping us in some way? This curiosity leads us straight to the next point: contact with extraterrestrials in the distant past and how it may have changed the course of our evolution. If there is something that stirs the imagination and the heart, let's be honest, it is to think that stellar civilizations may have visited Earth in times so ancient that we can barely date them. These enco-entros, according to many traditions and records, were not simple passages. They would have shaped the very origin of humanity. It's as if extraterrestrials and humanity were pieces of the same puzzle, head mounted over millennia, and that we are now beginning to decipher. And between us, isn't it curious how so many cultures speak of gods coming from the heavens, all with similar powers? Want an exam? Practical plot? Take a look at how the ancient Indians described the Vimanas flying machines that crossed the skies in their epics. Or the Dogons themselves, in Africa, who knew details about Saint Invisible threads invisible to the naked eye, even before telescopes existed. They are fascinating clues that this contact with ancient and alien civilizations may have been more real than many dare to admit. And that provokes us to investigate, to question, and to open our minds to new possibilities. And of course, if these visits really happened, what did they leave recorded for us? The answer may be in myths, in scriptures, in ancient texts that many call legends, but that may, who knows, be true historical accounts of cosmic events, and that's exactly what we're going to explore at the next point. Many people read ancient myths and legends as if they were just stories to entertain or teach morals. But what if I told you that these ancient texts actually hide, Reggie, real stories of cosmic events that mark the origin of humanity? That's right! When you start reading these scriptures with different eyes, noticing the clues about stellar civilizations, and finding os conselhos de outros mundos, tudo faz novo sentido. Não é exagero. Tá tudo lá, bem diante dos nossos olhos, só esperando quem tem coragem de enxergar além da superfície. Quer um exemplo? Pra já se. To put into practice, take the Mahabharata or the Book of Enoch and notice how they speak of battles in the heavens, of fiery chariots, and of celestial beings who descended to earth. It's the kind of reading that turns the key in our heads. Those stories of gods may actually be ancient descriptions of encounters with ancient and alien civilizations. And the coolest thing, this makes us reflect on, we see how much of our official history may need to be rewritten. And when we start to see these texts as real records, a question arises that cannot be avoided. Why these events? What happened? Could it be that Earth was chosen as a kind of spiritual school, a place where extraterrestrial DNA could flourish in learning and evolution? It is this idea that we are going to explore Ra then. Imagine for a moment that the planet Earth is not just a blue dot lost in space, but a true spiritual school, carefully planned for the growth of consciousness. Yes, this view suggests that the origin of humanity and the very emergence of life here have a much greater purpose than simply existing. Stellar civilizations and cosmic forces would have I see this planet as an evolution laboratory where extraterrestrial DNA could develop towards self-awareness and wisdom. Isn't it amazing to think about that? And look, this spy school ritual does not have tests and assignments like in traditional school, but daily lessons in the form of challenges, human relationships, pain and joy. Each difficult situation, each victory, everything would be part of this See Invisible curriculum. Want a practical example? How about facing that problem at work or in the family as a test to develop patience, empathy, or courage? This is how spirituality and cosmos work together on the journey of the human being. Small actions, such as meditating for 10 minutes a day or writing a gratitude journal, help us to align with this mission. Now, if the Earth is the same, this grand school, are we alone in the universe? Or is it that, like good classmates, there is life on many other planets, also learning and evolving? It is this idea that Inesse leva ao próximo ponto, e eu garanto, você vai se surpreender com o que vem a seguir. Quando a gente olha para o céu e vê aquele mar de estrelas, é quase impossível acreditar que só a Terra abriga vida, right? The truth is that many theories, including those that speak of the origin of humanity, point out that the universe is full of life. Stellar civilizations with levels of evolution far beyond D. Our may be out there, scattered in the most distant corners of the cosmos. And the most curious thing, some of these ancient and alien civilizations may even have crossed our path in the past. Help endua molda, quem somos hoje. Quero exemplo que puxe você para a prática? Da próxima vez que observar o céu, tente identificar planetas visíveis, como Júpiter, Marte ou Vênus. Estude suas características e se pergunte, por que não haveria vida lá? Ou em planetas que a ciência ainda mal detectou? Existem livros e documentários como The Search for Life in the Universe, que ajudam a gente a expandir essa visão. It's as if spirituality and cosmos are calling us to remember that we are part of an immense cosmic family and that we are not isolated in this process of evolution. And when we accept that life can flourish in many worlds, we begin to realize that humanity is inserted in much larger cosmic cycles of learning and transformation that repeat themselves over the millennia. And it is precisely this notion of cycles that we will explore next. Over the millennia, the origin of humanity seems to have followed a rhythm that goes far beyond what the books de Historia contam. We are inserted in grandiose cosmic cycles in which stellar civilizations, spirituality, and cosmos intertwine to guide us in learning. These cycles full of highs and lows, from eras of light and times of darkness, shape our evolution. And the most interesting thing, some ancients knew this. Peoples like the Mayans, for example, left calendars that speak of these sea cycles so precisely that they still intrigue us today. Now, think with me. If humanity lives within these cycles, how can we better prepare for them? A good start is to observe the patterns nature and history. See how empires rise and fall, how ideas are renewed, how the planet itself transforms. All this reflects these cosmic cycles. A practical exercise, read about an astrological ras or about the yugas in the Indian tradition. You will begin to realize how extraterrestrial DNA and the very spiritual mission of the human being connect to these great movements of the universal. And of course, if we are participating in these cycles, what do we carry within us as a heritage of these past eras? That's where a fascinating point comes in. The theory that our own DNA gua to record from other civilizations, from other stars, like a true stellar archive that we need to start deciphering. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Have you ever imagined that your sea opal can be much more than flesh, bone, and blood? There are those who defend, and with good arguments, that the DNA of humanity is like an ancient book written by stellar civilizations. That's right, as if our genetic code held messages, records, and even abilities that we don't yet know how to use. The origin of humanity, from this perspective, would be deeply linked to extraterrestrial DNA, like a gift from the stars, to help us in our spiritual mission and the awakening of consciousness. Now, how to start exploring this treasure that we carry within us? An idea for the key is to invest in self-knowledge. Practices such as meditation, yoga, or even the study of epigenetics help us understand how our body and mind are influenced by these cosmic heritages. There is some cool content out there. The book DNA, The Secret of Our Cosmic Code, for example, is a great starting point for those who want to understand more about this theory. When we start to look at the body itself as a link between spirituality and cosmos, the way we see life changes radically. And if in our DNA already exists this stellar inheritance, will it be that at some point in history, these CI, ancient and alien civilizations, brought advanced technologies that helped us accelerate our development? This is the provocation that leads us to the next topic. When we talk about technologies advanced in the past, many people imagine only rudimentary tools and simple constructions. But what if I told you that there is strong evidence that stellar civilizations shared knowledge to so sophisticated that even today they leave us speechless? Just look at the pyramids of Egypt, the perfectly fitted stones of Machu Picchu, or the ancient maps that showed lands that supostamente nobody knew at the time. The origin of humanity seems to be intertwined with this mysterious technological heritage, which defies conventional logic. Want an example that you yourself can investigate? Search about Antikythera, the mechanism found in ancient Greece, considered an astronomical computer of impressive precision. Or study the legends about the city of Atlantis, Desk Rita, as a place of immense wisdom and technology. These are clues that suggest that ancient and alien civilizations may have left their marks. And the most curious thing, this technology, as it seems, it wasn't just for building things, but also for promoting the spiritual mission of human beings and their connection with spirituality and the cosmos. And if all this technological knowledge was left to help us, is the use we make of it today aligned with our evolutionary journey? And is there a greater purpose behind all this, perhaps related to our own karma and myths of life? That's what we're going to explore now. The concept of karma may even sound distant to many people, but in fact, it is deeply linked to the origin of humanity and to our role in this prasquo, planeta escola. Since the times when stellar civilizations possibly guided us, karma would be like an invisible thread that connects our choices to our spiritual growth. It is not tiar, ata of punishment, but of learning. Each action, each thought shapes our path and brings us closer or further away from the spiritual mission of the human being, that great journey of evolution that connects us to spirituality and cosmos. Now, how does this apply in your daily life? Simple. Observe your attitudes and ask yourself if they are aligned with the collective good, with love, and with truth. Practices como o Ho'oponopono, a meditação e até a leitura de textos como o Bhagavad Gita ajudam a gente a compreender o impacto do nosso karma e a agir de forma mais consciente. Afinal, se somos herdeiros de mDNA, extraterrestrial, and part of ancient and alien civilizations, does it make sense to honor this heritage with choices that elevate our vibration, right? And reflecting on karma leads us to another idea poderosa, that, in the end, we are all part of a great whole, of a universe that pulsates in unison. Have we already managed to recognize this unity with the cosmos, or are we still trapped in the illusion of the separation? That's what we're going to delve into in the next point. When you stop to think about the vastness of the universe, isn't it comforting to realize that we are not separate from it? The origin of humanity, when viewed under the light of spirituality and cosmos, shows us that we are part of something much greater, a web of life that extends from the smallest particles to the most distant stellar systems. Stellar civilizations, beings from other worlds, our own ancestors, everything is connected, as if we are participating in a single great cosmic symphony. And when we realize this, change a forma como a gente vê a si mesmo e os outros. Quer um exercício simples para começar a sentir essa unidade? Da próxima vez que caminhar ao ar livre, olhe ao redor e tente se ver como parte da natureza, like one with the wind, the trees, the sky. This helps us to get out of the illusion of separation and strengthens the connection with the universe. Readings such as The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle are also great to help feel this living and unified presence. And, of course, this consciousness makes us remember that ancient and alien civilizations perhaps wanted precisely to teach us this, that we are all islands of the stars. And when this unity begins to awaken within us, an irresistible desire to seek deeper answers is born. That's where the next topic comes in, which is the true convey. Go on this journey, the awakening of consciousness, because it's no use knowing all this if we don't transform ourselves inside, right? Talking about the awakening of consciousness is in fact an invitation, a call to look inward and realize that the origin of humanity, with all the influence of stellar civilizations and the possible extraterrestrial DNA that we carry, only makes sense if we, opposes to grow. True power is not out there in the stars, but here within, in the way we choose to live. The awakening begins when we question ourselves. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing with this cosmic inheritance that I carry? They are simple questions, but they open giant doors for transformation. And you want a practical way to start this path? Choose a moment of the D, Ia, Pra, Silencia, turn off your cell phone, sit in a quiet corner and just breathe, observing your thoughts. It is like this, in silence, that self-knowledge begins to sprout. Another idea? Seek to read works that talk about spirituality and cosmos, such as Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. They are books that help to perceive how ancient and alien civilizations, spirituality, and science can walk in together, pointing to the same mystery, the awakening of the self. And, of course, once this process begins, it doesn't stop. Because the more you discover about yourself, the more you feel the imp, the desire to dive deep, to seek the hidden truth that connects everything. You, the universe, the past, and the future. And that's exactly what our entire video will guide you through, step by step. Will be, do people even know the true origin of humanity? What many do not imagine is that there is a hidden truth that challenges everything that has been taught in schools, in books, and in documentaries. Traditional iOS, and if there is evidence that stellar civilizations helped shape humanity from the beginning, that extraterrestrial DNA is part of the human essence, and that there is a mission, spiritual of the human being, forgotten over the millennia, This video was created to reveal facts and theories that few have the courage to expose and that can transform the way one sees the world. Those who watch will discover how ancient and alien civilizations may have been mentors of humanity, how ancient genetic manipulation may have influenced our evolution, and in what way the spa, spirituality, and cosmos connect with the greater purpose of each being. It is controversial, without a doubt, but it is precisely this unusual vision that promises to open eyes and bring a new understanding about the universo and the human role within it. The reward? A quick and powerful awakening capable of provoking real changes in the life of those who seek answers. Before doubting, the viewer will be invited to Purgantar. Will you really be prepared for this hidden truth? Is it possible that what prevents one's own growth is precisely the lack of this knowledge hidden for so long? The answer may be in the prologue. Here are the words and images of this video. After everything that has been revealed, the question remains, what will each one do with this knowledge? Will they continue living on autopilot, ignoring the clues left by stellar civilizations and by all the spirituality and cosmos that surrounds us? Or will you choose to awaken once and for all, assume the spiritual mission of the human being, and begin to seek your own respostas? Because the truth is clear, those who understand the origin of humanity with a deeper look can no longer live in the same way. And that is liberating. Now, the challenge is launched. That it's time for you to redeem this connection with the universe, look at the sky with new eyes, and start to tread the path of self-knowledge? What practical actions will you take from today to honor the extraterrestrial DNA and cosmic heritage that runs in your veins? Comment below what caught your attention most in the video. Share your ideas and questions. The channel is here for that peak, to be a space for exchange, reflection, and evolution. Oh, and don't forget, if this content has touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue following the next videos. There is much more hidden knowledge coming, and the next piece of this puzzle may be a click away.